I am so very excited. Today we are celebrating day 70 of our 75-day challenge, 75 hard. And so I wanted to talk about it on this podcast to just let you know that the goal of the 75 hard challenge was kind of like twofold. So for myself, I was absolutely just so in need of consistency, right? So I started at December 10th and it was like, I felt terrible. I looked terrible. I was like just all over the map in terms of my eating and my fitness, and just nothing had consistency. And so I was literally talking to a friend of mine, and he mentioned the 75 hard challenge, just like on totally unrelated to anything that we were talking about, but he just mentioned it was like in comparison to something else. And my brother, who is Navy Special Forces, had talked about this forever ago, and about how it was like this, you know, if you do this thing, you're a beast, like it's so hard, and and I was like, okay. For some reason it just resonated with me, and I was like, let's go, this is what we're gonna do. So I looked it up, and so it was 2 45-minute workout sessions. One has to be done outside. 1 gallon of water, so 100 and is it 28 ounces or 32? Anyway, now I just fill up my bottles and I know exactly what they are. 10 pages of a nonfiction book, progress photos every day, and a workout and a diet of your choosing. That is obviously like something challenging. So I picked, let me see. So for my diet, I chose that I was going to do sugar-free and gluten-free. And I'll tell you the reasoning behind it. So I had weeks, if not months, no, I would probably say the entire year of last year was riddled with like these binge eating nights and I mean, we don't have like crazy food in our house anyway, but it was like, my thing is Nature Valley granola bars, or just like, it would be anything. Like it could even be like, oh, I'm gonna go downstairs and make an omelet, but it would be after I had brushed my teeth, in bed with retainers in, like tired, and no reason at all for thinking that, you know, food at that time would be a good idea, period. Let alone, you know, eating. And there would even be nights like a Friday night or a Saturday night, like especially ones that the kids were, you know, just kind of munching or whatever, that I would be off to the races. Like I'd have something to eat and it would like trigger like, okay, we're going to eat like a whole box of these things, or, you know, whatever. It was out of control is bottom line. It was out of control eating. So I went, there was this one night, I'll never forget it. So there was this one night we went to the Chinese Lanterns. It's like this, sweet holiday event that they have here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And it's like, they have these paper dragons and paper lanterns that are just absolutely incredible. And it's this whole festival basically. And so we had gone there with my dad and stepmom and the kids, obviously. So we went, and on the way home, like, so while we were there, I had like these donut holes. And then on the way home, I was like, we should stop and get ice cream. And everybody was like, yeah. So we went, and me and my son were the only two who wanted it. And so we had this special trip to go get like not special ice cream. And it was so bizarre. It was so weird. So we ended up having like just this, it just felt like it was like this endless, you know, indulgence kind of a thing that I wanted to put a stop to. I didn't feel healthy. I didn't feel happy about it. It wasn't making me feel good about myself. So, and it made me feel like, holy cow, I'm out of control. And talk about imposter syndrome. Here I am talking to clients about how to improve, you know, their own eating habits and their lifestyle choices. And I can't even control mine. Like it was awful. So anyway, so cue the start of the 75 hard challenge. I was like, I've noticed that sugar and gluten are two of the ingredients that set off this like binging kind of eating process. And so instead, I was going to focus my diet on eliminating those two ingredients. Let me tell you what a life-changing experience this has been. I have not had not one of those events of like out of control eating, not a single one. And I haven't felt the desire at all, which has given me the mental clarity to clearly identify those two ingredients as being not for me, right? It's just not, you know, I totally wholeheartedly believe that we have like sensitivities to foods or ingredients that don't pop up on like allergy tests and things like that. So even though I don't show that I am allergic to them, I definitely see the negative results from when I consume them. So whatever, whether it's a sensitivity or an allergy, who cares? They're not for me. So not only was it interesting to be able to have clarity on that point, but also B, if I stay up too late, my cortisol, right, starts to affect my blood sugar levels, which will plummet and trigger a carb craving that makes me want gluten and sugar. So I have been in this toxic cycle of being tired, craving gluten and sugar, going on an eating binge, which keeps me up and makes my sleep horrible, which then the next day does the same thing. How crazy is that? So, and it took me, I'm 40 years old. I've been a health coach for over 22 years. And it took this 75 hard challenge to be like the 2x4 to the head of like, holy cow, this is exactly, and you know what's funny too? Oh, so one of the things is no alcohol for the 75 hard challenge, which obviously, you know, I've been sober for 6 years, so it's not, that part was no problem. Let me tell you that when I talk to my clients about having this like aha moment and about how transformative it can be to eliminate sugar and gluten from your diet, and then obviously alcohol, they are adamant, like, no, I'm not ready to do that. Pretty wild, right? Pretty wild. So, I mean, there's so many different rabbit holes that we could go down just in terms of this one topic, but I wanted to be able to use today's podcast to encourage you and anybody who's listening to seriously consider. It's so easy. It's so easy. I guarantee if you have not quit drinking alcohol yet, that this would probably help significantly so. If you have any, you know, nutrition issues that you want to resolve, this will bring them to the surface. And then talk about encouragement to stay on track in terms of my workouts. I mean, my workouts were pretty significant, like not only significant, but consistent, I would say. I didn't realize how often I would say like, oh, I really don't want to do that, you know, and then like pass up on an opportunity to exercise that really does make me feel so incredibly good after I'm done. But just like everybody else, I come up against that like, I don't want to do that right now. So this eliminated that, right? Because every time I would think that, I would be like, I have to be able to check it off my list. So with the 75 hard challenge, I've had 70 days of, like, I mean, I'm on my walk right now, but a walk, a minimum of one outside, because that's my outside workout. As much as I would love to, like, it's either biking or walking outside, I will say. There's two. But I'm not about to do like yoga outside. No offense to anybody who does, because I think it's fantastic. But I am very excited to just do the walking or the biking outside. And then I do either yoga, Pilates, or some kind of low intensity exercise that I just like live stream, or I'll do a strength training workout on my own. So this like routine though has felt amazing, and I think I'm debating on whether to show the progress photos, because they're me in a bathing suit, and it's kind of funky to think that I'm going to post them, but it's this difference is startling. And I mean, the beginning of this, I really was like feeling bloated, feeling puffy, and not wanting to, have all of that continue on into, into like a whole new year. Keep in mind, I started this in December, and I was like, I had just been feeling funky since just about Halloween. And I will tell you that for my clients for the past 22 years, Halloween has always been like the NASCAR flag of like the holidays starting and sugar being everywhere, right? I have one client, and it was so cute. She was talking about how she was like, my office just brings in all of these foods and culinary, and confectionery creations, and sweets has become their love language. And I thought that was so perfect, because people get super offended if you don't indulge in the treats that they give you. And I have had clients who are crushing it, making awesome progress, doing an amazing job, and they will forego their program, their protocol that is working, that is making them have success. If somebody gives them cookies, like in a tin, they will eat the cookies and be like, oh, and I'll even say, like, I'll be looking at their diet history and say, like, we need to, I don't know what these are, but we need to stop eating these. Oh, well, so-and-so gave them to me. And it's like, so-and-so also gave them to a zillion other people. Like, you're fine. She's fine. Throw them away. Like, they're hurting your progress. So it's been this very interesting, enlightening time period. But to have experienced it myself, I needed something that was going to be like jolting to get me off of that track, because I had definitely fallen into the trap. So this 75 hard challenge was a godsend in terms of just being able to wake me up from being in like a sugar trance, and then to be able to have the clarity of like, holy cow, this actually is like taking me down. I need to make, some changes. To have followed through on it feels so great, like in my own self-confidence. And then my kids have watched, right? So they've been inspired, and they've been like, it was so funny. My daughter had a friend of hers who came over to the house, and she was like, I'm like in bed, and she's like, he wants to meet you. I was like, what? So I go downstairs and I meet this kid, super sweet. And he's like, so you're doing the 75 hard challenge? And I was like, oh my goodness, you are kidding. So I'm like talking to him about what's worked for me. He's like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing it. A bunch of the kids on the football team are doing it. So it was such a riot that like this young kid, this high schooler, is like asking me for tips, So it's been really neat to be able to have, to take the intensity out of it. Like when my brother told me about it, he was like, you have to be like superhuman in order to be able to pull this off. Like there's no way that you could, this isn't just for any person, any run of the mill, whatever. And I mean, he knows I'm super competitive. So even at the time I was like, let's go. And, I'm trying to remember when he proposed this, but I'm pretty sure it was when I was still in active addiction. So the letting go of the alcohol probably was a no-go. But I think that that's one of the main reasons for a lot of people not wanting to do this. And so I think even if, and I will tell you, I'll take like a sidestep here, that I've had a number of clients, not a huge percentage, I would say maybe 2% over the course of my entire career, but who have said like, I'm going to stop drinking alcohol. And they have had the most incredible change of any client's progress. Like the ones who quit alcohol not only see success on the scale, but it changes their life. Like they sleep better, they feel better, they look significantly better. I don't know if anybody, I was thinking the other day about like, in terms of the progress photos, I was thinking the other day if I compared my previous life in active addiction, my photos then, oh my gosh, just like so puffy and Oh, terrible. Anyway, so those clients who have ditched alcohol, they get to see and celebrate such success. But I think this challenge kind of makes people think like I couldn't do it. And so my hope is that I can, show how easy it really can be. I mean, obviously I can't speak for the alcohol because I'm sure that's hard to miss, but I also work with clients all the time who are concerned about, going to a Christmas party and they don't want to be, they don't want to miss out on the festivities and have to pass up on the alcohol. And it's like, you've got a goal. So let's either like focus on the goal or, let's just not overindulge. You know what I mean? So there's all kinds of tips and tricks that I try to use with them on those, trying to make sure that they either abstain or minimize. And so I think those can come in handy just while you're trying to kind of like wean yourself off of it. But I don't know, what better way to cleanse your systems, clear your mind, and get serious about achieving some goals and setting yourself up for success in terms of self-esteem boost and confidence. Like, it sounds super silly because it's only been 75 days, but I feel so confident about not only having achieved something that I stayed consistent on 75 days in a row, but also, and that was through sickness and everything. Granted, I wasn't like crushing it in terms of fitness when I was not feeling good, but I was still doing my Pilates and still trying to, I say trying to walk because we were not walking very fast, but, still getting it done and checking things off. And so it's a really cool kind of like milestone to be able to celebrate that. And I decided I'm going to be doing one of these every season. So this one was the winter edition. We start the spring edition March 1st, and then we'll have the summer, and then we'll have the fall, and then we'll do winter again. And I'm going to carry over all of the things that I'm, mastering in previous ones so that I can continue mastering them, but also have them flourish into new areas. So like, I'll keep the sugar-free and gluten-free from this one, right? Game changer. And then I want to make Pilates a daily thing. And that's a sticking point for me. I don't know why. So I want to make that a focus for next time. And then I'll come up with something else. But maybe that's just it. Who knows? But this time of clarity has made it so that, it is absolutely insane that a passion project of the past 6 years has literally come to fruition. We're in the process of publishing. It'll be out May 27th. 6 years I've been wanting to publish this book. Doing this challenge, I started it December 10th. I contacted the publisher the first week of January, and here we go. And it's been this crazy whirlwind of success and success and success and door opening and all kinds of awesomeness that I never expected or experienced in any times before that I tried this. So that's been incredible. And then on top of everything else, being able to sleep and think clearly and eat foods that make you feel good and not weighed down and gross and whatever, it's life-changing. It allows you to be able to focus and follow through and not be lazy. I didn't even realize how often I was kind of, just being lazy about things, whether it was not following up on an email or just whatever the case might be. And so now, the other night I was so excited about this whole project, about the podcast. My mom had texted me and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're on my TV. Your YouTube thumbnails are on my TV and blah, blah, blah." And it was like, oh my gosh, this is actually working, and the reach is just to help women in recovery. And that means from everything. I had started out with a focus on obviously recovery from addiction, which is definitely, my priority in terms of my messaging, but the help is still the same, whether you're an abuse survivor. I use these same things, these same tips in my book, these same strategies to be able to overcome like the PTSD and I mean, everything from the abuse that just lingered and made life awful. So it's like, it applies to people who are like overcoming trauma and illness and disease and, you know, all of these different things. Grief. My girlfriend was just telling me like, holy cow, like this is so good for women who are recovering from, you know, and experiencing grief. And I was like, oh my gosh, I hadn't even, you know, really considered that. But, so the hope is there that it gets out to everybody, but it all started with just like, okay, we're going to write this book. And then it was like, oh my gosh, we're able to get it published. And then, oh my gosh, we're able to, you know, get it promoted. And then, oh my gosh, we're going to be able to partner with this person or partner with this organization. And then to the public speaking, like all of these things have fallen into place just since I started the 75 Hard Challenge. And I think, you know, I can only think that there's a connection between the routines and the consistency that you have to have in order to check these things off on a daily basis and being able to, you know, utilize those for good, for getting, you know, goals accomplished and things done in your day that you otherwise wouldn't have even, you know, set out to do. So it's just, it's wild. So anyway, so as we get ready, so today's Monday, we're going to be celebrating the end, or the 75th day on February 22nd, which is, are you kidding me? As soon as I started this challenge and I was like, what would be my end date? And it was like 2/22, and 2 is my number. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. And it's been life-changing, literally life-changing in every way. So I'm really hopeful that, you know, between the 75 Hard Challenge videos that I've been able to post, the start of this podcast, which I hope is helping anybody who's listening, you know, to know that like, yeah, life is crazy, you know, life is crazy. And we have so much to process and such little bandwidth because everybody needs everything and everything has to get done. And, you know, we accept so much responsibility. And so I'm just, it's so wild to think that we are in this, this really cool space of being able to help each other know that life gets crazy. Life is crazy. And sometimes we need to feel like we're part of a team, that other people who are not in the crazy parts can help us when we are in the crazy parts, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to be that voice that helps you through the crazy when you are experiencing crazy, and then be able to vent much like I did on my last episode and be able to let you know that I am normal and crazy too. You know, like I have the crazy times, and so together we can be stronger, right? And if I find something that makes my life easier, I want to share it with you. And that's the thing, like this 75 Hard Challenge, I'm telling you, like that's why I want to share it with you. That's why I encourage you to do it. But this is just one of the many. And I hope this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship, because I'm really excited to be able to walk with you, you know, and this whole podcast about being like, walk with me. I love being able to, I get so excited to go on a walk and know that I'm going to film one of these, because I feel like I have a connection with all of you. And I've gotten such awesome feedback in terms of like, oh my gosh, this one episode totally resonated with me. Or, oh my gosh, this one episode totally spoke to me. So I'm going to continue filming these, and I hope to just be able to join you in life and be able to share things that work, things that don't, you know, so we can save each other some time and energy and angst, because things that don't work are the worst. Yeah. And so I'm really excited to not only be able to celebrate as we move forward and have more things kind of like unfold, right? As we start out on, because this is pretty new, you know? So we're just going to be making awesome progress and making awesome moves from here. So I'm really, really thrilled to be able to spend the time with you, sharing this podcast, and hopefully be able to help however I can, right? All right, so I'm signing off. I hope you have a happy Monday.